lunch break fixes the flow as they should have, unfortunately, but yeah, and I understand there's been a bit of shuffling there. So welcome. I understand it's the Green Party.
Yes, we're a colourful party. Kia ora. Tēnā koutou katoa. My name is Rawene, and today I'm sitting here undertaking a submission on behalf of the Green Party for Northland. The Green Party has a significant history of environmental activism. In regards to this take, in regards to the Hokianga harbour, the Green Party also has a significant history of supporting the community in its environmental activism. I'm one of the only I think I'm the only political candidate to be for at the moment I'm a political candidate for the Green Party for the general seat of Northland. And I'm the only political candidate to be putting in a submission, as far as I'm aware. In regards to my qualifications and credentials, in my tōku Pākehā, I have a Bachelor of Arts, I have a Bachelor of Laws, I have 3 publications, 2 of which in relation to housing and infrastructure, 1 of which in relation to, it's called Rangatiratanga Inherited Design, and it was a publication in relation to an analysis of how Te Ao Māori can be incorporated into the Salvation Army. I've also been involved in many social policy positions and analysis over the years. But my most important qualification in this forum is that e hiki mai a hau mō tau te ihi ihi. E hiki mai a hau mō motu kaka. E hiki mai a hau ngā kāua e rangatira o ngā hui kōhaurau, me mani o toto. Ko au, ko Hokianga, ko Hokianga, ko au. Ko Hokianga tuku tūranga waiwai. Those are my most important credentials when I'm sitting here talking to you in this meeting. But I'd like to thank the Green Party for opening up this opportunity for us to be here today as tangata whenua. The process wasn't one that is conducive to the Far North District Council, as an agent of the Crown, has been perpetuating the injustice, perpetuating harm of its own community. When I grew up here in the Hokianga, I didn't understand what racism was. I grew up with my hippie friends, with my beautiful Māori whānau, and we lived in the community together. What I have seen here today from our tangata tiriti partners is an absolute tautoko for mana whenua. And I would like to express my gratitude to our tangata tiriti partners. Because at the end of the day, we whakapapa to tangata tiriti as well. Because when we couldn't find agreement, we married them. We have been here, we're in the Hokianga, we have got a strong, consistent, persistent culture of resistance. This is not anarchy, this is not something to be feared, this is something our tupuna have passed down to us when Dame Whenekrupa decided to go on a long walk, and even before that. My tupuna put in consistent submissions against things that he didn't think were wrong, right. And he won some of them. His name was Rawene. If you look out into the harbour and see a church, a whare karakia, that is our marae there, Motukraka, where Rawene is from. One of my roles and credentials, sorry I forgot to mention, is the chair of Rangatari Whakohanga Reo, the chair of Makamuka Primary School, and also as a trustee for Waipuna Papakaina, which is just on that side of the harbour. In regards to an analysis, I'm going to move to an analysis on the harm done, and I'm going to talk to the concept of identity. In regards to the harm completed, which you've heard and I don't need to repeat here today, the harm that's been done because of the effluent that goes to our moana, the impacts on our identity are incredible. People have eloquently told you, what those impacts are in a spiritual sense. We've had tohunga here that we have the absolute privilege of listening to over the past few days. And they can speak to this more than I can around the spiritual harm or around the psychic significance from our beginning from our ancestor Kupe down to our ancestors more recent times. So when we think about our identity, it's linked to our ability to manaki manuhiri. If we don't have the ability to go out and manaki manuhiri through our resources that we have, this is going to impact our well-being. And this is just on the case of mana whenua. This impacting our well-being and identity also impacts tangata tiriti as well. The wellbeing impacts are quite huge, and there has been no analysis around this that I can see. No real analysis around the social impacts and the wellbeing impacts of the harm that is occurring, and it's intergenerational harm. It's around not just mana whenua, but the identity of the Hokianga as a people, combined Pākehā and Māori and Iwikia, combined in kotahitanga. In fact, if you look at Treasury, they have a wellbeing framework. There's plenty of frameworks that could have been applied to provide this analysis, and I can't see an analysis in any of the documents. In relation to the social and economic impacts, that's also problematic as well. It's significantly lacking. If you were to cost out the time that everybody has put into objecting to the sewage in the harbour, that must be included in the economic analysis. we're currently undergoing, in regards to social implications, we're currently in the process of a cost of living crisis, and yet we're being restricted because of the paru to be able to get our own food and be sustainable. Our roads are broken. When we are sitting here, when I was growing up, when we needed dinner, we'd go get it. We need to be self-sufficient. So in effect, it's not the best practicable option, as their lawyer has argued. It's the antithesis of that. Because what has been occurring here is transferring the cost onto the community that's supposed to be serving. The Whānau District Council has subjected the community to this. I think it's an antithesis of, I don't think it aligns with their values, and I haven't done the analysis on their values, but I doubt that it'll align. And this isn't even a treaty argument. There's been no analysis of the intergenerational impacts post that's occurred, and that is to come. And there's been no really sufficient options in regards to procurement practices. It's just, let's procure it, contract it out to Venezia, when the community have said, previously we used to have the option in the community, we'd have some contracts. The excuse that there's not enough capability in this community, it's quite obvious through this week that we're more than capable. We are very practical people. We are very knowledgeable people. In fact, for the Motuhaka Church, I think I heard the story correctly, that we traded some timber to the sawmiller and let him keep half so that we can construct the church. The church is still standing. Like I said, we're practical in the Hokianga. In regards to solutions, this is a difficult one. I can't see any, I think it's real negligent to not have any climate change adaptation policy or consideration. We can't do that in this day and age. I think I heard one of the experts say that it's not within our control. Of course we know the weather is not within our control. It's in the control of the atua. However, what is in our control is how we prepare. So when I worked at the Independent Māori Statutory Board, we constructed a climate change recommendations, and we constructed a framework of what the best practice would be in order to give rise to Te Tiriti o Waitangi obligations for the council. So the best practices, the budget given to mana whenua. This is just this framework. This isn't the law. The second best is partnerships with mana whenua. The third is consultation with mana whenua. And the fourth would be, as in this case, complete and utter disregard of mana whenua. So we have the options in regards to a solution to change that. So when I worked on those climate change recommendations, and these aren't included here, I worked on it with a colleague called Dr. Guy Penny, who's an engineer and environmental scientist, and he has several other full-time credentials. Couldn't have him here as an expert witness because of the timing, but I did canvass some whakaaro with him. And he said it's inadequate that we don't cater for a flood risk. He said you can't. I talked to him about electrocoagulation, EC, and he said that's actually a really good model. I understand that that would be easy to implement in the kuhu wastewater system and cost effective. You've also heard, so in regards to those, I'm not providing you with a solution here, but I want to encourage you to be brave. I want to encourage you, and I'm hoping that the days that you've spent in Hokianga whakapau karakia, in Hokianga nui a kupe, the days you have spent here, that you have been able to understand or feel the wairua of the place, and you be brave, and you make the most symbolic recommendations you can within your power, or even outside of your power. It needs to be values-led. It cannot be economic lens-led. This is why mātauranga Māori is so important and why it works for communities. You've heard from the beautiful group and the amazing work of Te Mauri o Te Wai. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. We are a practical people. So essentially, while we've got our tamariki here, and why the Kaumasua asked us to bring our tamariki here, because we have to. Because we've had years of fighting, and we might need them to fight when we're gone. And it's simply that true. Because when we're raised here in the Hokianga, we get the toko early. We get the toko early because we are resilient people. We are strong people, and we teach our children to be strong and resilient for whatever is to come. I was raised amongst my nannies and my aunties. Auntie Rui Ma, Auntie Pani, Cyril Ma, Auntie Di, Uncle Karu, all my aunties and uncles I've been raised by, and we're raising our children to listen to all the whakaaro and all the kōrero of us, just like we listen to all the whakaaro and all the kōrero of our tūpuna. This is why we have our children here, because it's an intergenerational issue. Please, can I ask you, if you ever come to Tauti Ihi Iki, please call us. We would like to offer you a cup of tea. Please, if you arrange a site visit, we would like to show you around our field. Because as Auntie Mikey said yesterday, we must be kind. You see, my aunties are kind, and my uncles are kind. And that's just how, and when I asked one of my aunties who didn't want to impose some new regulation on one of our Pākehā neighbours, why are you doing that? Why don't you just impose it and send a letter? She goes, well, we care about relationships here. Finally, like I said, I can't tell you what to recommend. I thought about it, I thought maybe I could ask them to reserve their judgment. Maybe I could ask them for that 3 years. But what I'm going to ask you here today is something that our tūpuna whaia has asked years ago. Take care of our children. Take care of what they hear, what they see, or how the children can grow, for so will the shape of Aotearoa. Kia ora mai tātou katoa. Kia ora. Now, as part of our submission also, I called on 2 expert witnesses. And the reason I called on 2 expert witnesses is because they couldn't fit into the process. Because the process was quite alien to them. So this submission that was put in by our auntie over here, that I got to speak to, has allowed time and space for our hapu representatives to call in. And that's Cyril Chapman and Hokianga.
I whānau me tū poto tēnei ki te pīkauke kia koutu e hui mai nei rona te tino karanga o tēnei ngā take nui moi a tātou ngā whenua Hokianga. Me tukake ngā whakaara nui tuku mai rātu ngā mātu tūpuna e pāra ki tēnei take nui mai te wā i ora rātu ai tukake te whakaaru e pāra ki te oranga o tātou moana Hokianga nei. Me te mauri noki o ngā tau e tuku mai a rātu atu ki a tātou. Me mihi ana ki kia koutu ngā i kā. Koutu roho mai nei ki tēnei kāinga. Me koutu ngā tino hapu Hokianga ko tāu nei tātou kia whakakotai ai whakaaro i mua te aroaro o ngā hongani. E mua tēnā me mihi kaura ki a rātu. Rātu i hoki wairua mai i tere rā, ki te api, ki te tautuku i a mātu, me ngā nepa nei. Ko rātu ngā rangatira atu wā e tūmai. Me hoki wairua mai ngā mātua, ki a tautuku kia ātena kia, tēnei pūtake e mui a tā. E mora tāua, i roti tā Māori, ko rātou tā wairua, e mātanoki te hua kiko, me mahi tai ai tātou. E rongo i te kaupapa o te tika i te pō. Koina rā ka hari ko ana, he kone hoki tātou. Me te whakaaro nui e potopota ake rātou mai te timatanga e kaupapa rātou tai o tēnei huimatanga tātou. Me tautoko hia, ngā kōrero e poto mai i a rātu. E pāna ki te pūtake nui ko tō tātou moana o Hokianga. Koronga hoki ngā kōrero e poto mai i rātu e pāna ki te itori, e pāna ki te kupe, e pāna ki o tāua waka, ki o māmiri, ki o ngātoki matapāuru. Rātou i hoi mai te moana nui a kiwa. I tēnei wāhi a tāua. Ko mātou e ni ngā uri whakatupu e tūkaha kia mau kia pupuri hia te mana o rātou mā. E roi tēnā me mihi kia tātou e te pā. Koina rā anga poto te tūtangata mo te wānei, a hori taku tū, kei whanei ngā nepa e tū ki te waita o tātou waita tāua, maunga tainuma kei runga, e tainga ngā maunga pūkōroro o roto Hokianga, te whare tapu o ngāpui. Kuri no tēnā koutou, kia rohi mai tā. mai ngā mokopone tū kā mai tātou. I motu aroaro o tēnei o wā komihana. Kei te tuaka a kei te pā whakara mai te pati manawa. O te tangata kia tūki ai tino wawata a ngā mātua me rātu ngā mokopona hurino tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou. Kia ori mai tātou.